I was living in the Haight-Ashbury in the old Russian embassy on Fulton Street, and a concert was announced of a group called Love. I think it was 1964, and I went to the concert and saw Bobby, and he was playing guitar. And I was looking for a young man to portray Lucifer in my first version of Lucifer Rising, which I've been working on the script in Europe. And Bobby seemed ideal. He turned out to be a Scorpio, which didn't surprise me, since I'm Scorpio Rising.
He did begin to hang out to a degree, to as much as anyone does hang out with Kenneth Anger, and usually it's a kind of a short-lived hangout period, you know, because he was shy and outgoing at the same time. How do you do that? You know, how do you do that? Obviously, a really imaginative person. I mean, his first words to me were, "You are Lucifer."
A demon is just a convenient way of labeling a force. The demons I'm working with in Lucifer are what magicians call elementals. In other words, these are individuals, they're people, they have 3 dimensions, but their main driving force is demonic. They answer another call. He certainly identified with the character as I described it. Now, it's not the devil. It's the fallen angel that is so beautiful and so charismatic that God kicked him out of heaven. That's the fall of Lucifer. He was like almost like a young Mick Jagger or something in a rock scene. He was called around the Haight-Ashbury either Cupid or Top Hat. Cupid because he had sort of serial girlfriends. He always had a string of them, not just one, but several. And Top Hat because he affected to wear costumes on the street.
The herald of the dawn of the Aquarian age was Lucifer to him, the bringer of light, which is kind of a personal thing for him because he saw himself as a filmmaker, as a bringer of light, you know, communicating with light.
I've always felt comfortable with Lucifer. I have his name on my chest, but that preceded Bobby. It had nothing to do with Bobby. It was just it's my personal logo.
Naturally, there were, occult, satanic overtones, but he insisted from the very beginning, and I believe him and still do, that it's not really about, evil incarnate antithesis of Jesus Christ or any of that kind of stuff. It's not Judeo-Christian related at all, really. It's based on a mythology that's far earlier, and it resonated with me.
At the beginning, we hit it off pretty well. The problem was that I was promised money to get my movie going, but I really didn't have too much. I mean, we did a little filming, and Bobby had an expression. He was quite impatient to get things done. Let's get this show on the road.
Well, yeah, every so often. Eventually, I just really kind of got discouraged because he wasn't really doing a lot of work on the film. He was more talking about it than anything else during this period. We had put on a concert, the Magic Powerhouse of Oz, and this was going to be at the Straight Satan Theater. And Kenneth got in on it. He wanted to turn it into Equinox Festival. He was going to do an invocation to Lucifer on the dance floor, which would be used as an extension of the stage. So we played a first set. It went real well. And then during the break, after the first set, Kenneth was going to do his invocation. He had set it up to do it to a recording. He'd gone to a recording studio and recorded this invocation, and then he was going to sort of pantomime the invocation. Well, he took acid that night, and I think it would have gone okay, possibly, even so, had the tape that he'd recorded not broken in the middle of his presentation, and he was left out on the dance floor with no partner, basically. You know, there he was, and it freaked him out. And things just started happening, this sort of calamity that happens around him when he freaks out, when he goes on that, and things around him just sort of cooperate with him synchronously. Mechanical or electrical things were happening that he was not touching or doing anything to. Lights were exploding. I mean, you know, it just started falling apart. Went up on stage and tore holes in the scrim, looking, you know, calling my name, looking for me. And well, that was pretty much the end of our relationship at that point. I became the fall guy for the things that were wrong in his life.
We did a few things together, like The Wizard and the Sorcerer's Apprentice. But like The Sorcerer's Apprentice, I mean, it spun out of control. He kicked the front door open and went into my studio and helped himself to all the cans that said Bobby on them. So he had the film.
Later on, I got blamed for having stolen the film. That was the reason he couldn't deliver the film. Well, there was never a film made. You know, there was some footage taken, and what happened to it, I really am not clear on. I have no idea.
So when we broke up, he helped himself to the van and drove off in it. And I believe, I mean, the legend is that he drove it to Southern California and it broke down on the edge of San Fernando Valley in front of the Span Ranch. And some of the girls came out and asked him to move in. And he got ensnared in the Manson family quagmire. And I was quite irritated with him. I did put a Curse of the Toad on him. Well, there's this fairy tale about the Frog Prince, about the toad that is in the well. And so you sort of identify the person with the toad in the well, and then they can't get out. So, you know, I'm sorry he's in prison. But I'm sorry for everything that happened, you know, after he left me.